Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to my Druid Archer Let's Play featuring Araelas and Bjorn. And we also have a Ghost Wolf and a Spirit Saber Cat. And we have a bird. Okay, so this introduction is starting to remind me of that scene in Ace Ventura where he tells his apartment landlord that he definitely doesn't have any animals in the apartment. But then when he closes the door, all the animals like come out, and he drops down to his knees, and they're all like flying around him and everything. Yeah, good times. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about what happened last episode. Well, last episode was the first episode of Chapter 4 of Araelas' journey. We made our way from just outside of Whiterun, all the way down through Riverwood, past Lake Ilinalta on our way to the Falkreath Hold to hunt the Guardian Wolf, which is part of the quest that Froki, all the way over here at Froki Shack, gave us a long time ago. So we should finish that up soon. But Araelas got a little distracted by a benevolent energy coming from the lake here, north of where the Guardian Wolf is housed. And that benevolent energy was from a kindred spirit called the Lady, who a long time ago was also a druid. She left a relic of her energy within the Lady Stone here, and that relic was the Lunar Familiar, or the Spirit Saber Cat that now accompanies Araelas into battle. It's quite powerful. It helps us out a lot. And it really fits the whole character concept of this Druid Archer thing really well, and I am very happy to add that to our arsenal. What else happened? Oh yeah, after we got that, we started to hunt for this Guardian Wolf over here in the woods, but we got distracted again by a feeling of ancient darkness, a new darkness and an old darkness coming from Shriekwin Bastion. This turned out to be an old Nordic barrow that was infested not only by vampires, but also an ancient Draugr. And we should be able to get to the bottom of this whole Draugr arising from the dead business soon. Looking forward to that, but that is another episode. Well, we entered the barrow in the north entrance, and we emerged from the south entrance, which put us pretty close to Falkreath here, which is where we are now. We sold off all of our loot, and this all happened off camera at this point. I sold off all the loot. I kind of asked around for some rumors and some leads on some quests that we might be able to do while we're here. We didn't find a whole lot. There was a hunting party led by a man named Valder that went missing lately, and that was off to the west of Lake Ilinalta, if I can remember correctly, to the northwest of the city. So we'll follow up on that. Araelas is an expert hunter after all, and if that party got into some trouble with a pack of bears or something, Araelas should be able to help him out. So he will go see what he can do there. Also, the blacksmith over here contracted us to track a dog for him that he saw just outside of the city gates. Araelas is good at tracking animals, but he pretty much just deals with wild animals. He doesn't do the domestic animal thing much. So we probably won't do much with that. I'm thinking. So we'll probably just ignore that. But in Shriekwin Bastion, we were able to find finally enough ancient Nord arrows to construct a batch of ancient Nord arrow freezing trick arrows. That we are now able to make with frost salts at a forge. So we have a batch of those. Let's go ahead and favorite those now, so that we can use them when the time comes. I would imagine they work pretty much exactly like the immolation and grounding arrows. They just explode with with a different elemental type, and that would be frost. So we'll use that when it's appropriate. What else? Oh, I'm coming off of a cold. It's probably been the worst cold of my life. Its symptoms are hanging on now for 5 weeks. But I am feeling better. I am itching to get some Araelas footage recorded and episodes produced. I got a lot of really cool stuff in the pipeline here that I'm really looking forward to sharing with you guys. So, yeah, no common cold is going to keep me down. So I think that might be about it as far as a recap. Right, but before I go any farther, now that we have the Lunar Familiar, I think we're going to use that as a trigger to make saber cats friendly. And I think while we're at it, we're going to go ahead and make wolves friendly. They already are because of Moonlight Tales. Actually, it might be a vanilla feature if you're a werewolf that wolves won't attack you. But just for the sake of avoiding confusion, my own confusion in the future, I'll go ahead and make that consistent with the rest of the settings here. Foxes are descended from wolves, so we're going to go ahead and make them allies too, just because that makes sense. Prey animals, I think we're going to still make them afraid of us, just because we don't have an affinity with them like we do with the predators. And things like, well, the Spriggans are already allied, but things like trolls and werewolves, werebears, spiders and charas, they tend to have an influence of evil and darkness about them. So I'm going to leave them with vanilla settings, just because even though we do have an affinity with nature now, there might still be circumstances where we encounter hostile versions of those creatures. Let's see, was there anything else? No, I think that's it. So yeah, from here, what time is it? 4:30, so it's getting later into the afternoon. So we're going to try to head back to camp soon, but Araelas is feeling just an overwhelming sense of misery coming from the south end of town here, so we're going to go investigate that. This town seems dark and dreary in general, but there seems to be a very acute, focused somberness coming from this graveyard area over here, so let's see what happens here. Funeral?
God Arche was once like us, bound to winding mortality, but he willingly gave up this existence that we might better understand the vagaries of life and death. It is through the ebb and flow of this cosmic tide that we find renewal, and in the end, peace. May the spirit of Lavinia and all those who have left this world and its suffering know the beloved serenity of Aetherius, and may we one day rejoin them in eternity.
Okay. Araelas is getting the sense that this elf is wise far beyond the capacity of many other people in the world. But let's investigate here and see what's going on.
A sad time.
I'm sorry, forgive my inquiry, but who are you mourning the passing of?
Our daughter. Our little girl. She hadn't seen her 10th winter.
Oh. I'm sorry about that. How did she die?
He ripped her apart, like a saber cat tears a deer. We barely found enough of her to bury.
He tore her apart? Who are you talking about?
Cindy came through as a laborer. Seemed like a decent man. He's stewing in the pit while we figure out what to do with him. You've got the stomach to look at him. What could drive a man to do something like this?
I have my ideas on what would drive him to do something like this, but
I just don't understand what kind of man does that.
for now, you have my sympathies, and I'm sorry for your loss. Yeah, like like Araelas said, he has some experience with things like this. Sounds like a man who has animalistic tendencies, savagely tore a young girl apart. We're going to investigate this further because this sounds exactly like something that Araelas would be interested in, being a werewolf himself, being previously part of a pack of werewolves, and now encountering something that resembles the actions of a werewolf, but one that has a complete lack of control over it. So he said he's stewing in the pit, so we take that to mean that he's in jail. And Falkreath is small, so I'm guessing that the barracks house the jail as well. Okay, the jail's probably down here, I'm guessing. They would probably separate that a bit from the place that they use as their living quarters, the guards that is. Cell seems empty. Okay, this is probably our guy right here. It's really dark in here. Okay. Is your name Sinding?
Yes?
Oh, he definitely has the eyes of the wolf.
Come to gawk at the monster?
No, actually I'm just trying to get more information. I'm going to try to help any way I can. But I heard that you killed a little girl.
Believe me, it wasn't anything I ever intended to do. I just lost control. I tried to tell them, but none of them believed me. It's all on account of this blasted ring.
A ring?
This is the ring of Hersing. I was told it could let me control my transformations. Perhaps it used to, but I'll never know. Hersing didn't care for my taking it, and threw a curse on it. I put it on, and the changes just came to me. I could never guess when. It would be at the worst times. Like with the little girl.
So, I think I know what transformations you're talking about based on everything else.
I don't suppose there's a point in keeping the secret if I'm going to die in here anyway. I'm sure you've heard of men who shift to beasts under the influence of the moons. I'm one of them. A werewolf. It's my secret and my shame. That's why I wanted the ring. It was said to give men like me control. Now, I may look like a man, but I still feel the animal inside of me as strong as ever.
So, do you not have control of yourself when the form of the beast takes over? Why did you attack the girl?
I had just come into Falkreath. They needed some help work in the mill, and I thought that would be something safe, something I could do. When I saw the little girl, I could feel it coming on. I could taste it. I needed to hunt, but this pitiful, limited body wasn't meant for hunting. Slow, no claws, weak, mashing teeth for chewing cud. I held in my rage as long as I could, but it boiled inside of me. She looked so fragile, helpless prey, and then I feel terrible about what happened, about what I did. It would probably be best for everyone if I just went away.
You know, honestly, I don't disagree. But What's your plan now?
I've been looking for a way to appease Hircine. There is a certain beast in these lands. Large, majestic. It's said that Hircine will commune with whoever slays it. I tracked it into these woods, but then I had my accident with the child. I want to beg his forgiveness. Give him back the ring. But while I'm stuck in here, the beast wanders freely.
Okay. There is a problem here. And I'll do whatever I can to fix it. So why don't you give me the ring, and I will see what I can do about appeasing Hircine.
Oh my. You would do this for me? Here, take it. I don't want anything to do with this wretched thing anymore. Seek out the beast. He wanders these woods. Bring him down and the Lord of the Hunt should smile on you. I wish you luck. But you leave here while I still have my skin. Should our paths cross again, I will remember your kindness. Farewell.
While he still has his skin? I think that foreshadows something, doesn't it? Okay, transformations are private affairs. I'm not going to stand there and gawk at him while he goes into beast form. Okay, so what just happened here? Well, we encountered Sinding, a werewolf who cannot control his transformations, and he stole a ring that apparently was supposed to give, was supposed to exactly do that, give him control over his transformations, but in the process of stealing it, seems like he drew the ire of Hircine, and Hircine threw a curse on the ring, and it made Sinding's lack of control even worse. So we took the ring and we're going to try to commune with Hircine directly to see if this entity can lift the curse on this ring. But as soon as Sinding gave us the ring, it dropped right onto our finger, and now we can't take it off. So now this curse of random transformation has been transferred to us. Great. So we are going to make a beeline out of the city here as fast as possible. And we're going to decide what to do next. Alright, so first things first, we got to get away from the city. But where are we going now? There was this great majestic beast that Sinding said we need to hunt and kill. That is off to the east in the forest area outside of Falkreath. So I think we can manage that. It is 5:46, not even 6 p.m. It's getting later. It's approaching evening, but this beast is not too far away. For an expert hunter like Araelas, it should be fairly easy. So we're going to do that, and then we should be able to cut through the mountainside here, and then head back to camp. I don't think we're going to take on the Guardian Wolf just yet. We're a little sidetracked, and we don't know yet what Hircine is going to have us do. So I think right now would be a good time to cut the video, and I will join you when we are getting ready to take on this target beast. Okay, here we are right around where this great beast is supposed to be. So we're going to have to take this very low and very slow for right now. So that's going to start with turning off our lantern, and we will go into night vision mode, which is an ability that Araelas has gained as part of being a werewolf. As you can see, it helps a lot. Now, the other part of this is that since we've upgraded our restoration skill and our alteration skill and have been adding to our animal entourage, we've had less need to stay stealthy. In this situation, however, we are hunting probably some kind of prey that is going to flee as soon as it sees us. And because we haven't been being stealthy all that much, our skill is not where we would like it to be for something like this. So I'm going to have to be extra careful here. I'm also running a nice Ion's Thief Skills Rebalance. Oh. Is that it over there? That might be it right there. His Thief Skills Rebalance, which is the optional file that comes with Ordinator, that actually makes staying stealthy considerably more difficult. Yeah, I think that might be it. Let's take a shot here. There we go. Yeah, alright, good. Now, was that the one we were looking for? I see a big old white stag and a spirit coming out of it. Okay, great. Alright, for this, let's go ahead and go back into normal vision mode and turn on the lantern, so we can get the effects of the E and B here.
Well met, Hunter.
Hello. I assume you are Hercene?
I am the spirit of the hunt. Just one glimpse of the glorious stalker that your kind calls Hercene.
Very well, Spirit. I'm here to do your bidding. What would you ask of me?
Your fealty is precious to me. I will make good use of it. You bear my ring. The one who stole it has fled to what he thinks is his sanctuary. Just as a bear climbs a tree to escape the hunt, but only ends up trapping himself. Seek out this rogue shifter. Tear the skin from his body and make it an offering to me.
Very well. It shall be done as you ask.
Fly, my hunter. There are others who vie for my favor. A bit of competition. Don't dally while the prey flees.
Okay, so there are a couple things to take away from this. Let's get what we can back out of this white stag here. First of all, we didn't choose any of the dialogue options that would sort of favor Sinding in this situation. We are pretty sure he's talking about Sinding. Being as he betrayed Hercene and sort of ran off to escape any kind of punishment. Araelas is a hunter, and as a hunter, he understands that sometimes life needs to be culled in order to facilitate life and quality of life for everything else. This is the case he feels with Sinding. Sinding cannot control his transformations. He is a danger to society and potentially a great unbalancer for nature. Any kind of predator that powerful that has no control over itself can really just wreck an ecosystem. So he needs to be taken out of it. And Araelas understands that. He has no personal attachment to Sinding. He's a bit sympathetic towards Sinding's situation. He understands that maybe all this stuff wasn't really brought on by himself. But nonetheless, he needs to die, as that's just the long and short of it. Now, also, he was quite reverential, or at least deferential and respectful of the aspect of Hercene that we saw. That is because Araelas does quite respect Hercene. Now, he doesn't have much personal experience with Hercene, nor has he studied Hercene. Which way am I going here? So he doesn't really know much about Hercene. He knows the feelings he has about Hercene. He also knows a bit about her scene through third-hand or second-hand ramblings from other hunters in his party that he was initially part of. His hunting party, that is. And Araelas' origins have said that he has spent a lot of time in migrating hunting parties, migrating up from Valenwood, elsewhere region up through Cyrodiil, and finally up through the Velothi Mountains into Skyrim. And a lot of those hunters were reverential, so... Oh, there's our prey. We're still not ready. We have some other things to do before we are able to take on this this Guardian Wolf. But as I was saying, so he's got some second-hand reverence for her scene. The other thing that I wanted to point out was that that spirit of the hunt, that aspect of her scene, was itself hesitant to label himself as her scene. So that lends credence to Araelas' philosophy after communing with the Eldergleam, or the Eldergreen. I always get those mixed up. That a lot of these entities that Men and Myr have assigned labels to, such as Hircine, Kine, Kinnereth, Mara, are all actually the same thing. They're just different ways to represent life and love. A different understanding that ultimately is just human or Meric invention, or human or Meric construct laid on top of this unifying life energy that just helps people with a lesser understanding of this energy to come to terms and understand exactly what it is that they're feeling and that they're dealing with this sort of spirit of the forest, or life and love in particular. Also lending credence to this theory of Araelas's, and we'll take the legs, is that the spirit of her scene called himself the spirit of the hunt. And that jives a little more with the way Araelas sees things. In contrast to sort of more accepted and more conventional ideals of or ideas of gods, like the conventional pantheons of either the Imperials or even the Bosmer themselves with Y'ffre and those other folks. So that's good. I was kind of fortunate that the dialogue worked out that way. I did not remember that is what the spirit of her scene would say, as it's been so long since I've done this quest. But it totally jives with the lore and the story that I've kind of set up for Araelas here. Okay, so finally, the spirit of the hunt has been... Well, he was kind of urging us to hurry, to make this a quick hunt of Sinding. That is completely contradictory to everything that Araelas knows about hunting. He is, after all, a master hunter. And he knows that hunts are not to be rushed. If you rush a hunt, you're going to get into trouble. The spirit of the hunt also told Araelas that there are other hunters there vying for his favor. Ooh, look at this. And that they're sort of set into a race condition of sorts. That whoever is able to get to Sinding first will earn his favor, probably reap any rewards that that he has to give. But this to Araelas feels like a bit of a trap. A test, sort of. It's probably the first test of this contest. That you can't rush a hunt. So anybody who falls for that bait of trying to rush in is probably not going to do too well. Araelas is suspecting an ambush at this place. So he's going to take his time. Oh, Bjorn must be cold. Get out of the fire. You silly bear. Alright, he's going to do what he's going to do. So Araelas is going to take his time. He's going to get a night's rest. He's going to go low and slow. Just like we did with the White Stag for sending the Betrayer here. So we're going to get a night's sleep. We're going to eat. We're going to head out nice and early in the morning, well rested. And we're going to be very careful about this because this rush seems to be a little fishy to us. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get Araelas fed and rested. We're going to clean up these slaughterfish that we just have taken out, and I will see you in the morning. Yeah, we have other things to do. Sorry, Kine. I'll see you in the morning. Okay, so here we are, bright and early in the next morning. It's not quite 6 o'clock yet. We do have a level up. And let's see. Pull up my cheat sheet really quick here. Figure out what attribute we are taking. We are going to take, I believe, it is going to be stamina one more time. Level 39, correct. Here we go. This character thrives on stamina, just to slow down time mostly, and make sure that he has enough stamina to dodge when he needs to dodge, bash when he needs to bash, and hold his bow drawn for as long as possible. Now I think this time I wanted to take the what was it called? The Warrior's Flame perk in Restoration. I think where this character is going, how druidic he is turning out, that this is really going to add a lot to the character. So what this does is it adds an entity called the Warrior's Flame that sort of randomly touches anything, any target within a 100-foot radius, including yourself. And if it's an enemy, it actually saps magicka and stamina for 20 points a second for 5 seconds. If it hits somebody who is friendly, it does the opposite. It regenerates that much per second. And then there are things that you can do to add on to this, as far as adding damage and healing to living and undead enemies, and then on from there, which is great. We'll probably definitely follow this tree here further, but for now, it all starts with the Warrior's Flame. Great, so that should really help flesh out this character a little more. It's already feeling very fleshed out, but that's just going to help complete it a little bit more. What else? I thought there was something else. I can't think of it now. Yeah, so we are going to need to go ahead and head out here. So that means crossing the lake to the other side. We're going to go all the way around Lake Ilinalta, and we're going to end up here in Bloated Man's Grotto. Oh, I remember what we were going to do. So I'm going to take this opportunity. I'm going to say that that white stag and its subsequent spirit of the hunt that spawned from it has added an affinity with deer and elk. So I'm going to mark those as allied. Now this isn't going to do much. They may fight for us in certain situations, which is awesome. But mostly it's going to have the effect that they will not run away from us, which is awesome. I think slowly I will actually start making most of these animals allied. I think that a strong druidic character will have an affinity with most animals in nature. So those animals are not going to see Araelas as a threat, but rather as a champion of nature, and they will not flee him anymore. Even if he is hunting them, they will not flee unless he can't kill them in one shot. Then obviously they will. But they understand that Araelas has to do what Araelas has to do in order to preserve the balance of nature. He knows, or all these animals are eventually going to know that Araelas is there for the better good of all nature. So I think that's it. We'll go ahead and throw down a quick save so that I don't lose any of that. And we will head to Bloated Man's Grotto, I believe. Oh, here's one of our saber cat friends. Oh, that's so cool. Just being able to walk alongside one of those out in the wild. And it just being cool with it. I love this character so much. So much fun. Alright, so here we are right outside of Bloated Man's Grotto. I think we're going to take this the same way. As I've said before, Araelas is a bit skeptical of the whole rush in and hurry up and get it done thing. So let's turn off our lantern. Let's go into night vision mode and take this quietly. Oh, we're hungry, thirsty, and tired all of a sudden. Oh, I forgot about this. Okay, so if you enter Bloated Man's Grotto during this quest, it automatically advances you to close to midnight. I guess for effect. So let's see here. We can't do anything about the fatigue, but we can eat some food. What do we want? Let's have some seared saber cat, some goat cheese, Idar cheese wedge, boiled mud crab. There we go. All right. Is that enough? All right. So at least our belly is satisfied, even if we are super sleepy. Okay, I see lots of carnage over here. This definitely confirms our suspicion of an ambush, I think. Lots of dead, overzealous hunters, it looks like. Okay, what else is waiting for us over here? Okay, who detects us? Oh, what's that up there?
You. Why?
Never thought I'd see you again.
Yeah, well, I think we both saw this coming. Hercene wants you dead.
And I would deserve it, wouldn't I? I can't stop you if that's what you want to do. Her seems too powerful. If you spare me, I can be a powerful ally to you. And I would promise to never return to civilized life. I know now that I can't live among people.
I'm afraid that's enough. Or that's not enough. As you said, Hercene is too powerful. And ultimately he knows better in what is best for balance and life in general, so I can't deny him. You're gonna have to die.
So be it. All right.
Alright, well he didn't seem too upset about it, but I don't think he's just going to lay down and die. So we're going to need to be very careful here. Okay, looks like we got some loot to come back to when we're done here. Alright, it looks like some of the other hunters have found sending. Well, let's do what we can here. Is it done? I think we can all agree that it was my arrow that killed this guy, yeah? Alright. So let's go ahead and take any of the ingredients and stuff that we need. Werewolf blood could be quite powerful. We're going to avoid skinning the pelt because I think we're going to need to take it off of his inventory instead in order to progress the quest. But we'll see what kind of ingredients we can get out of him. Excuse me. Ooh, and more ingredients, huh? Yes, we will tear the skin from his body. Oh my gosh, what happened? I just did as you asked. Hunterborn's bugging out here a little bit. This skin right here? Thank you, Lord Hearsing. God. Sticky guy. I wonder if we have any arrows still on him, though. Yeah. Alright. Okay, so let's actually take a closer look at this. Savior's Hide, huh? Grants 15% resistance to all magic, not bad. Grants 50% resistance to poison, which is also quite awesome. I don't think it's going to look all that great, honestly. Ooh, look at those sexy legs. And that deep V, too. Well, he's making quite a fashion statement with this thing, that's for sure, but I think I like our shaman robe better. This outfit is what I envisioned Araelas in when I first came up with this character concept. So I don't think we're going to switch that up to the Savior's Hide, even though I think it fits the character concept, both in terms of how he obtained it and in terms of its enchantments. It just doesn't look the part, I'm afraid. And that's kind of important. Especially when you're trying to flesh out a character concept that you've been working on for a while. So yeah, I think that's it. It's all the way... It's almost midnight already, so we've been up for a good, I don't know, 18 hours at this point. So Araelas is quite fatigued. In fact, I think we can... Oh, maybe he's alright, actually. That's interesting. So he's okay, but we still want to get back to camp and get ready for our next journey, I think. So all that's left now is to loot the place and head back to camp. Okay, so here we are back at camp after a successful hunt. So I think what we're going to do with Savior's Hide here is we are just going to plop it in our hunter's cache here. Save it as sort of a trophy or keepsake. Even though we're not going to use it, we still want to keep it. So we'll throw it in there. Yeah, so I think that's it for this episode. Thank you for watching. as always, and then I should be back pretty soon with a new episode. Sorry that my video output has been so weak lately. I have been very sick with a very long-lasting head cold. You might be able to hear my voice is a little nasally in this episode, or a little rough at least. That's just me getting over the cold that has lasted for like 5 weeks. But I feel like I'm getting on the other end of it now, and hopefully that helps me to be a little more productive with these videos. Araelas here is really picking up steam. I'm really excited to show what's going to happen next episode after we defeat our guardian wolf over here in the wood area. We're going to complete our evolution of Araelas from fledgling hunter to ultimate druid archer, I suppose you could call him. So yeah, I'm really excited to show that off. And also some more things that will move the story forward, I believe. I got some new production tricks that I'm looking forward to trying out. And I can't wait for you all to see it. So yeah, I think that's it for me for this episode. As always, thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye.